Well, for some people in these manipulative or toxic or abusive even relationships, you stop right there at your physiological needs, which is your food and your shelter and your clothing. So if you stop there, how in the world are you ever going to get to self-actualization? Here is why you will never reach your full potential as long as you are in a relationship with a narcissist. I want to introduce you to a concept called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So, Maslow's hierarchy of needs just simply explains that humans have basic needs, and these needs are ranked in a hierarchy. The visual that they use is like a pyramid, much like we think about like our food groups in the food pyramid. Well, we have the same exact concept when it comes to our emotional needs, and in order to work our way up through the needs, the one below it has to be fulfilled. So it's important for us to understand all the different levels of our needs and really apply this to the kind of relationships that they're in, because if our needs are not being met, based on this model, it is impossible to reach your full potential and to maximize everything that you have to offer the world. So the base level need is just your physiological needs. So this is going to be your food, your shelter, your clothing, like the basic things that you need on a day-to-day basis just in order to survive. Your physiological needs, those have to be met in order for you to start to pursue the other needs that are moving up the hierarchy. And the next one after your physiological needs is going to be your safety needs, and that's your need to be free from danger, and in order to not have to feel like you're in this self-preservation mode for today or even in the future. After your safety needs, and that's when you move into your social, or you can also call it the affiliation needs, and that's your needs to belong and your need to be accepted by a social group and, just people of importance and having people that are important in your life. Once you're able to start meeting your social needs, then you can move to your esteem needs, and these are your needs to where you need to have some sense of a positive self-image and a positive self-esteem and have recognition and have acceptance from other people in that social group that you built in your social needs. And then the last one at the very top of the hierarchy is called self-actualization, and this is your need to maximize your full potential, whatever that might be. Now, if you remember what I said, you cannot move to the next level of needs until the first need or the need below it is fulfilled and met. So how does this relate to narcissism? Well, for some people in these manipulative or toxic or abusive even relationships, you stop right there at your physiological needs, which is your food and your shelter and your clothing, because you're maybe threatened all the time, like that they'll just kick you out or they'll just leave or whatever and leave you with all the bills or kick you to the curb. So if you stop there, how in the world are you ever going to get to self-actualization? Now, maybe you're not necessarily dealing with that, so maybe your physiological needs are being met, but I can almost guarantee that anybody that has dealt with narcissism, we stop at safety needs. Because whether we realize it or not, we do not feel safe in these kinds of relationships. That's why our anxiety levels are so incredibly high. That's why we're hypervigilant. We're always constantly worried what version of them is going to come home. I'm trying to avoid conflict. I'm trying to not set them off. So almost all of us stop right there at the second level. And again, no way we're going to get to self-actualization because we stopped here. So if you stop at safety needs, then that obviously makes sense that you're not going to be able to move into your social needs, which is why most of us feel isolated and why we feel like no one understands us or that we feel scared to leave because we don't have anybody that will be there for us because we've not had the opportunity to maintain our social group or maybe even our family group because we've been somehow manipulated and isolated or even potentially threatened, going back to the safety needs, of making them the priority and shutting everybody else out. And I think this is an important concept for us to understand even after we leave a narcissistic relationship, because if you're for some reason feeling any sort of guilt about leaving this person high and dry and leaving this person to figure it out, like I've had comments on my other platforms about like, they're homeless now and this and that. I just want to check on them, make sure they're okay. Here's the thing. You were never ever going to get to your full potential in this relationship. You had to leave at some point in time in order for you to survive. And what is happening to them on the outside, or on the back end, I should say, of you leaving or them leaving, that's consequences of their choices, not necessarily yours. So be free in the fact that you made the decision that you had to make in order for you to really survive, but in order for you to ever have the opportunity to reach your full potential. Now, it's also important for us to know these needs because it's going to teach us how we can rebuild our foundation and how we're able to reach our potential now that we have the freedom to. Honestly, when I read about this model, it blew my mind because it was able to put so many things in proper perspective for me. So I really hope that it's done the same thing with you. And please share this with people because I know for a fact that this is not common information that's out there. So I think it really is important and it can really be helpful for people that are going through similar situations as us. As always, thank you guys for allowing me to be a small part of your healing journey.